And welcome to Chapter 6. Today we're going to look at the rules of syllables. This is probably one of the most important chapters in Dr. Fuller's textbook. We will start applying these principles and rules in chapters 10 and 11, but it's important to introduce them here because we can focus in on them and study them and learn them. You will have to do quite a bit of, I say quite a bit, you will have to just flat memorize these, so be aware of that and work hard to get these down pat. We will work some examples so you'll be able to kind of see how they work. But for now, let's just look at the rules as we have them. So the first part we have are the rules of Proto-Hebrew here at the top. Now, Proto-Hebrew is a theoretical language. It doesn't really exist. We wouldn't ever really use it. So keep that in mind. It's a pedagogical tool that kind of works as a middleman between, a middleman so that we can see what happens between the vowels in the word we find in the lexicon or the dictionary versus what we may find in a conjugated form in the Hebrew Bible. So the vowels will change in those cases. And so what in essence happens is we can use this Proto-Hebrew language to kind of work through an arithmetic, algebraic format and then come about why the vowels did what they did. So it ends up working out very, very well for understanding Hebrew as a language rather than just memorizing a lot of paradigms. So get these down pat, and what I want to do for you is try to just really simplify these rules of Proto-Hebrew. The first one here, that a long kametz was a patach in Proto-Hebrew. You'll see this little footnote here. Footnotes are important in Dr. Fuller's book. I don't have the footnote on this page, but if you look down at the bottom, you'll see that the footnote mentions something to the fact that all non-historic long vowels become the corresponding short vowel in Proto-Hebrew. So it's actually a better way to think of this rule, because not only is a kametz going to become a patach, but also a sere is going to become a hirik, and a holum is going to become a kametz hatuf. In biblical Hebrew, we in essence have 3 vowel classes, not 5. So in English we have A, E, I, O, and U. In Hebrew we have A, and then we have an E-I vowel class. That's why our E sere can become an I hirik. And then we also have an OU vowel class. So that's why a long holum, a non-historic long holum, can become a O kametz hatuf or a U kibbutz. So those are some caveats to this first rule that gives it a little bit more of a complete understanding. So the way I like to say this first one is all non-historic long vowels become the corresponding short vowel in Proto-Hebrew. And that encompasses the kametz becoming a patach, the sere becoming a hirik, and the holum becoming a kametz hatuf or a kibbutz. The second rule here is that a vocal schwa in biblical Hebrew is a short vowel in Proto-Hebrew. So a standard vocal schwa, like you see here, just simply becomes a short patach in Proto-Hebrew. Pretty simple on that one. Now these little boogers, these composites, are a little different. The only difference, though, is that instead of becoming a patach straight out, the vocal composite schwas become the corresponding vowel of the composite. So, for instance, if we have a hadef kametz hatuf in Proto-Hebrew, that's just going to be a kametz hatuf. Okay, that probably wasn't a good example, since our kametz hatuf can look a lot like a kametz. But there you go. If you had a 5-star General Segol in biblical Hebrew, when we move to Proto, that's just going to become the short Segol. Okay, so that's what you need to keep in mind with the composites. Otherwise, any vocal schwa is going to become a patach. And he even says here frequently patach because of the composites. So that's good. The next rules, let me see if I can think of it. I think what I want to say from here on out is everything else stays the same, right? Historic long vowels are the same. Short vowels are the same. There you go. The other one that he doesn't put in here are silent schwas. So if we have a silent schwa, that stays the same as well. So you really only need to remember two rules here. Non-historic long vowels become the corresponding short vowel, and vocal schwas become the short vowel, frequently patach, but if it's a composite, it becomes the short vowel of the composite. Other than that, everything else stays the same, and we'll apply that here in just a moment. The next set of rules are actually when we're going to work from a proto word into a biblical word. And again, to get a proto word, we're going to have to put it into proto. So this is a language that doesn't really exist. You're not going to come about the Hebrew Bible and find a word in proto. So a lot of times with proto-Hebrew words, you'll find this little star that Dr. Fuller gives you to tell you that's not a real biblical form. That's a theoretical form. And so, but part of our algebraic step method that we're going to use in chapter 10 is we're going to put a word into proto, then we're going to add some things to the word, then we're going to go back into what we would call biblical Hebrew. And these are the rules that we would use for that. And so I'm going to simplify these for you a little bit with this little, this right here. Let me write this out, and then I'll show you where I get this. Pen didn't work. And sorry, I'm just going to write over top of what I have there so it'll work. That's, I think, what I want to do. So the way I did this when I was learning Hebrew in 2006 was Capel, Oprel, Curse, Opes, Oops. Okay? Capel, Oprel, Curse, Opes, Oops. And as weird as it is, it stuck for me and has been helpful. But what we have here are all of these rules, okay? Closed, let me back up. Closed, accented, prefers long, Capel. Open, pretonic, requires long, Oprel. Closed, unaccented, requires short, curse. Open, don't curse, really, that was not a command. Open, accented, prefers short, opes. And then originally open, pro-pretonic, reduces the original short vowel to a vocal schwa. Okay, so this is schwa. You could put all kinds of other letters in there if you want to, but that's how I have memorized these. So but potentially you'll want to use that in order to memorize these: Capel, Oprel, Curse, Opes, Oops. And this is another good little method to memorize these, where you actually have words that give you examples of each of the rules. And so use those however it proves helpful to you. So let's look at a couple of examples here. Let me see if I can find one very good. So this word is a biblical Hebrew word, amal, and we're going to put this into Proto-Hebrew. So consonants are going to stay the same. We're not ever going to change those. And what we have here, in fact, are two long kametzes. So our rule is that all non-historic long vowels become the corresponding short vowel. And so we go to two patachs right there. That's it. It really is that simple. And again, this is a theoretical form. We would not see this form in the Hebrew Bible. This is what we would see in the Hebrew Bible. But we're going to use this little guy as a middleman. Okay. Let's look at another one now. Mamtach is what we have here. So this is a silent schwa. This is a short vowel. We don't have rules associated with those except that they stay the same. So we're just going to leave those guys as they are. And next we have dageshes are not going to change at all. Okay. And this is a closed syllable right here. But indeed it is accented. I don't know what I was trying to write there. It's accented. So it is not a kametz hatuf, that is a kametz. So again, all non-historic long vowels become the corresponding short vowel and there is our proto form for Momtok. Okay, again, it's the middleman. We're not going to use this word. We won't see this word in the Hebrew Bible, but we will use this word to figure out why vowels do what they do. And that'll make more sense to you in chapter 10, so hang with me on those. This one, you can see we have the star, and so this is a proto-form that we're going to put back into Biblical Hebrew. You'll notice here that I've already written out the Hirik Yod because historic long vowels are the same in both Proto and Biblical, so we're not going to change that at all. And I have not written out the vowels underneath the ayin or the mem yet because they're going to adjust. So the first thing we need to do is establish the accent. It's going to be on the final syllable if it's not written in. Then we're going to divide our syllables, find our vowel and our consonant. Good. Vowel, consonant, and good. So this is a proper syllable division for a Proto-Hebrew word. So next what we need to do is identify what kind of syllables we're looking at. This syllable is open, and this syllable is pre-tonic. If you remember our rules, open pre-tonic requires long, so let's just lengthen that bad boy out. Stay within the vowel class. If we have an A patach, let's use an A kametz. Okay. The next one, we have an open syllable. This one, though, is pro-pretonic. Okay. So when we say originally, that's in Proto, quote, originally, originally open pro-pretonic syllable reduces the original short vowel to a vocal schwa. There you go. Now, this one is a little bit tricky because we have an ayin, which is our guttural letter. With gutturals, they cannot take simple schwas, they must take composites. Most of the time, these are going to be a composite patach, because if you remember the guttural rules, they also prefer that ah sound, okay? So here we would have a little bit of a caveat at the end of this one. After we apply the rule of an originally open propretonic syllable reduces the short vowel to a vocal schwa, we have to remember to make that vocal schwa composite underneath a guttural. So I wanted to show you that example intentionally because of that. But this is the form that we would find in the Hebrew Bible. Okay, I think I've got one more for you here. Yes, I do. And so we have here another proto form. Let me write these consonants out again. Remember, the dageshes do not change. Historic long vowels stay the same in both, so I'm going to go ahead and write that out. These are the two vowels that we're going to be dealing with. Again, let's divide syllables, start from the back, find the vowel and the consonant. Hold on, I'm going to erase these little lines so that we don't get those confused. Very good. Find our vowel, find our consonant, and make the cut. Okay. We have actually the same syllables that we're working with here. The accent is assumed to be there since it's not written in. This is open pretonic, requires long. This is originally open pro-pretonic, reduces to a vocal schwa. So we're just going to lengthen that one out, reduce this one to a vocal schwa. We have a regular consonant here with the dalet, and so we don't need to make this schwa a composite. It's good to go. So we have devarim right here. Now, I want to show you one thing. Let me change colors so that it can help maybe a little bit. Notice these two cuts right here, this cut and this cut. Okay, in Proto, that's allowed because we have vowel, vowel. If we were going to divide this word, we would make the cut here, but we would not make this cut because vocal schwas cannot stand alone. So if you look back at the rules and the little, we'll get to chapter 7 later, if you look back at the rules, the word that we're looking at in that example is this word right here. And you'll notice that he puts rule number 5 associated with this syllable, but he gives you this dotted line because in Proto we would make a cut there, but in the word as you see it right here, a cut technically does not belong there. So I wanted to show you that in that word particularly, Let me get back to it. Very good. Wanted to show you that in that word particularly, that we do make the cut in proto right there, but once we get back to biblical, this cut does not exist. Okay, so oops, I just erased my erasure. Good. Let me know if you have any questions on those. Chapter 6 is learning and applying these rules. Again, we will use these a lot more in chapters 10, 11, and beyond.